Hey, this video is part of our Vitamix 101 course.
Yeah, you can buy this course where you'll get the recipes, shopping lists, quizzes to test your knowledge, support from us, and lifetime access.
Otherwise, you can keep watching for free on YouTube. Either way, happy blending. Bye.
Hot soups are not one of the things you can expect to make every day. And depending on where you live, you're probably going to take 6 months off from making them. And they're by no means easy. They're on the complete opposite spectrum of, say, frozen desserts. Because from a preparation standpoint, we have a little bit of work ahead of us. And you need the right ingredients, ones that you're just not going to necessarily have sitting around. But I assure you, it's not that difficult, and it's absolutely worth it. So let's preview the big takeaways in this unit. Afterwards, you should be comfortable making hot soups that are made start to finish in your Vitamix, are a heart-healthy option for a hearty meal, and are based on a template that can be molded and varied depending on the season or occasion. To accomplish these goals, we're going to discuss 3 things. 1, the template for making several kinds of hot soups. 2, tricks to get your hot soup heated in your Vitamix. And 3, we'll discuss how to add varying textures and consistencies to create a symphonic taste experience. All right, let's talk about the template for making hot soup. Here's a story. When I first read the recipe for the famed Vitamix tortilla soup, I was like, are you kidding me? There's 12 fresh ingredients, many of which are only called upon for like a little slice. Eventually I made it, but if it took me about 3 years to make this recipe, the Vitamix guy, how long is it gonna take you? 20? Once I made it, I realized, in fact, it is delicious and worth the effort. But I also realized that it can be made much simpler. Less ingredients, less complicated. And in turn, that made the recipe more versatile. And of course, I'm much more likely to make it. So using the tortilla soup recipe as inspiration, here's the template for making perfect start to finish hot soup in your Vitamix. Peppers, tomatoes, onion, broth. And if you have celery or carrots, you can always add them too. And that's it. When you blend all that up in your Vitamix, you get the perfect basis for any hot soup. Your spices are going to vary, but after that, you're done. And keep in mind, hot soups are kind of like green smoothies. The more the merrier. So if you have a little cabbage, throw it in. Or if you have a little hot pepper, throw it in. Whatever you put in your hot soup, you're going to get a texture and a base that's creamy and delicious. So that's the basic template for hot soups. But once we throw it all in, how the heck do we get it all hot? When making hot soups in your Vitamix start to finish, you don't need an additional heat source. Your Vitamix does all the work for you. How? Friction. Just friction. The blades in your Vitamix are spinning at an incredible 2,700 RPM. And this generates a lot of heat, especially after it's been running for 5 minutes or more. Well, you'll notice that the soup has been turned into a homogeneous mixture pretty quickly, and the rest of the time it's running, it's just heating up. Curious about why frozen desserts and smoothies don't get heated in our Vitamix? Well, they're not running for long enough to create enough friction to heat them. Like I said before, if you put frozen bananas in your Vitamix for 30 seconds, you're going to get banana ice cream. But if you let it run for 5 minutes, you're going to get hot banana soup. All right, quick note, we did talk about what happens if the machine gets overheated, but that should not be a concern here with making hot soup. Yes, the contents are hot, but this is actually quite an easy job for the machine itself. All right, so that's how to heat the soup. Let's talk about texture. The secret to hot soup, or really any food for that matter, is creating a symphonic taste experience. And this is culinary school in a nutshell, I think. Different temperatures, different sizes, different textures. So the hot soup we've created using the template is not yet a symphony. Right now, it's just a trumpet. Adding texture is how we add the rest of the ensemble. But how do we do it? Well, once the soup is hot and ready, we'll take advantage of two features on the Vitamix. One is low speed, and two is the removable lid plug. Basically, we'll add the final few ingredients through the lid plug while the Vitamix is running on low speed. That'll incorporate the last few ingredients and get them down to a size that's perfect for a spoonful. If you really want to get advanced, you can do more than one round of texture adding. Add some ingredients, run for a couple seconds, add some more ingredients, run for a couple seconds, and now you have 3 textures. A quick note, when you're adding texture through the hole in the lid, don't worry about ingredients flying up into your face. If you're on low speed, everything should nicely be pulled down into the blade. All right, those are the big points. Now let's talk a few bonus tips. All right, bonus tip number 1, you can always get pre-packaged broth, but just as good is water in a bouillon cube. Bonus tip number 2, try and find a low sodium version of the broth or bouillon cube. The soup you're gonna make is gonna have so much flavor, you won't even miss the salt. Bonus tip number 3, your machine will turn cold water into hot soup in about 5 or 6 minutes. But if you use warm water or broth, the processing time will be a lot less. Bonus tip 4, for this lesson in hot soup, we've been talking about making soup start to finish. Water, vegetables, blend, serve. But there's another kind of hot soup you can make with your Vitamix, and this is the type that you're more likely to see in Michelin-rated restaurants. This is the type that starts in the Vitamix for consistency and texture, but ends on the stovetop. So why the second step? Well, some soups need time to mesh and reduce over heat. Yet, the Vitamix is needed to get the consistency and the flavor extraction for step 1, but step 2 requires father time and a wood spoon to complete these types of soups. These types of soups are great and they're generally easy to make, but just remember the difference between start to finish hot soup and start and ready to be finished hot soup. All right, well, now that we've gone through the essentials of making hot soup in your Vitamix, hot soup that's hearty and delicious and fresh and full of whole food ingredients, we're ready for a demonstration. So when you're ready, mark this unit complete, and I'll see you over in the next.
Hey guys, Shalva Gale with Life is No Yoke. Lenny asked if he could do my makeup for this video, and I said, no. But you should subscribe in case I ever do say yes.
That's a great point. she got me.
Thanks.